Happy Tuesday. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend and getting this week all straightened out and good to go. It's been kind of cool here. Actually cold for here. I mean, cool compared to anybody else in the world. Today it was a high of 38 degrees. So a couple things. I probably haven't been out to my table in a week and a half now or so due to weather. Obviously the one day when they cut the trees in the yard and had branches all around my table, my overhead tent was destroyed. It was destroyed, but not really because of the storm we had. It was the wind. Well, I guess it might have been a combination of both of them. One of the corner legs actually bent, and I don't know. It was a square tube, and it bent, and then the wind just flipped it all over and destroyed the whole thing. So no more tent. What else? This Friday, I'm talking to a group of 35 homeschooled children about honeybees. I've got a big meeting on Thursday, so we'll see how that goes. Thursday is a big meeting with some place in my town here, so I don't want to say too much about that because I don't know, first of all, what's going to happen with it and what their intentions are, but it could be a good thing for me. So we'll see how it goes. What I mean, me, as far as beekeeping and honey and all of that stuff. So anyway, that's kind of what I've got going on. Not a bunch. They're calling that it could snow again this weekend. Which I didn't get snow last weekend. I mean, it was basically, if we saw any white, it was either frost or just a little bit of sleet. And that's about it on that. Let me see if there's any other words of wisdom as far as that. A couple things. So obviously we do have, I know we got 37 people. That's probably the people that are 37 that come all the time. We do have a Facebook group called the NoLife Beekeeping Facebook group. It is based around people from this group, right, that watch this stream. This was the original NoLife Bee Keepers stream. All of the original people that came from this stream as far as viewing and stuff like that. The Facebook group was designed so people that are in the chat can talk to other people that are in the chat, and maybe not only on the live stream nights. But what it's quickly turning into is every single person that does a YouTube live stream just feels like they can just go in there and post they have a live stream. They don't post anything else. Nothing, no substance to help any beekeepers or anything like that. Just, hey, join me, my live stream is coming. This group was not designed to build other people's YouTube followings for them. There's a bunch of people that already know when those nights are, right? So hopefully most people that are in these groups know that you like, share, and subscribe to the channels, and that way you get notifications when they're live. So there's really no need to just post your live streams in there. It doesn't do any good. So going forward, I will be removing them. What's in there right now is in there. But from here going forward, I don't even do my own. I don't even post my own. Hey, my stream is live. I don't do that for me, and it's my group. So I just don't want it to get trashed up with only YouTube posts. Now, if you're sharing a video like, hey, I found this really cool beekeeping video, and it's not a live stream like this, share it. No problem. We will watch it and we will learn things. But I just don't want it to be a TV guide for everybody's live streams. I mean, there's people posting that they have a live stream going and they have their own whole community, their own whole Facebook group and community, and they're advertising theirs as well. So I just don't want it to become that, guys. Information hub, yes, great. Advertising for people's YouTube channels just to grow your YouTube channels, no. I mean, everybody that's been going there knows when that is. So at any rate, you know, I don't see, I see Ian in the group is why I'm going to say this. I don't see Ian posting his his stats right here, his videos, you know. And so just please be respectful in there, or you know, we're going to start taking it out. I just don't want the whole feed to be filled with just, hey, live stream, live stream, live stream, and live stream. Anyway, guys, the link is up top. If y'all want to talk bees and have a discussion, let's do it. Click on in here, and if you don't, it will be a very short stream tonight because I don't talk to chats very well. Hey, there we go. Hey, sir.
Talk about very short. Talk about very short.
Here I am. 9 minutes or 7 minutes. We'll just get the business out of the way first, so anybody that comes in later, they get that first, and then they can enjoy the rest of the video with us, right?
How's everybody doing?
Well, I'm doing all right. I
understand you're a little anxious because you haven't been to work for a while.
Yeah, it is. It's weird. I work right here, right?
Yeah, you know what
right
I mean,
outside,
though, right?
But at 38 degrees, business would be slow, and I would just be sitting out in 38 degrees.
Yeah.
No, you know, I still try to do things.
I get that. If something prevented me from doing, you know, deliveries or servicing stores or something, I'd get anxious too.
Yeah, I mean, for me, if I'm not at the table, means no income at all, right?
Yeah,
because unless somebody orders from a website or something, you know.
I remember a couple of years ago, I had eye surgery. Actually, 2 years in a row, had eye surgery in the winter, and it was, they wouldn't let me do anything for a month, and boy, that was grueling. That was the worst part. Was it wasn't like, you know, I had a broken leg and they were going to take the cast off in 6 weeks. It was, I feel fine.
Right.
You know, it's a month of just, I feel fine, but I can't even bend down to tie my shoes. Well, I can't bend down to tie my shoes anyway, but you know what I mean. And I can't lift. I can't lift more than like 1 jar of honey at a time or anything like that. So, yeah, I can begin to relate to that. I'm sorry that that's the case, but that's business ownership, right?
Well, so I mean, I guess the thing that I didn't want to talk about, I mean, you know about it, but anyway, there's a small gift shop, I guess is what you could call it. I don't know how this is going to end up working out, but I do have a meeting with them. I have established a meeting day and time. So Thursday morning, I am going there. It's actually a visitor center for the city of Columbia, for the capital city. So when people come in town, you know, on business or something like that, and they want to get information, they go to the visitor center. And they contacted me because my honey came highly recommended. This is what they told me. You know, I'm not making that up. So I'm going there with my sampler and some honey, and I'm going to be they want to carry my honey. So
right on.
So we'll see what happens. You know, it could be nothing at this point. I don't try to chalk anything up till they buy something, right? We'll see how that goes. But if they buy it from me at my sales price, and then they mark it up to whatever visitor center or a gift store type of markup would be, then they paid full retail with me. So I mean, and that's very easily documented, right? That's what I've been charging for 6 years. So I didn't give them any special wholesale rates or anything like that. I don't know. So it's just very much a work in progress right now. And it's a small thing. So it probably, there's not like they're gonna, not like you where someone says, "Hey, I want you to be in my store. Bring me $1,300 worth of honey." It's not like that, right? It'll be something
That
small.
doesn't happen very often, but it has happened. Hey, boss.
How's it going?
You totally had me messed up right now. I
Why
was
is
like,
that?
how's he in the bee house with the lights on?
Oh,
And I'm like, oh,
no
wait,
way. That's a no way, that's for sure. They would be all over me. I'd be putting on a show.
He'd be like this.
Yeah, I'd be in a bee suit.
So how's it going?
Windy out here. Oh man. Just can't get away from the wind. It is windy. Yeah.
Not windy here at all, hardly.
Let me tell you a story. I've got this tent that I put over my sales table, right?
And so back up a little bit. Wasn't there somebody last week that said, Bob,
several days ago, somebody said, you should go out there and put that up.
Big storm coming. Take your tent down.
It'll be fine. And it
doesn't get windy here, as I recall.
Yeah, it doesn't really get windy here. And it did, in my defense, it did make it through that initial frost and ice and snowstorm-ish thing we had. And I was sitting here talking to Brad, and I'm looking out in the yard, and I'm like, well, that doesn't look good.
Oh, no. Across the yard, was it?
Oh, it totally destroyed it. I mean,
oh, boy.
The square tube that you hold the whole top up, right? You snap it into piece. Right below where the top clip is that it was locked into, just bent. Just bent like that, and then the whole thing just flipped over and it just mangled it. So
yeah, I remember when was that? 2012. I had a lawsuit. I bought in some New Zealand packages, and then they came, of course, right in a big rain. So I used one of those tents to set up over top of my hives so we could shake them down and at least not get rained on. And we were working at night, and we were through probably had 15 left, and a big gust came and took that tent and just threw it right across the pasture. But we got done the last 15.
They're a big sale.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I said, just forget about it. We'll get it in the morning.
That thing really
Bob, if you just had a length of 3/16 square tube and a MIG welder, you'd fix that thing up, no problem. Right?
Not anymore. That thing's all mangled. It's all mangled now. So I even thought about just getting my Sawzall because I couldn't get it to collapse down. I was trying to get it small, so I ended up having to unbolt a bunch of things trying to get it down. And yeah,
did you get all your branches cleaned up before the snow hit?
They actually did come back later that afternoon and did get it. It still looks like a war zone because they're not going to they're going to get the big stuff, and all the little leaves and everything all over the place are still there. But
I'm surprised to come back
up a bit. I'll set my honey table up, and then I'll go get my blower and blow all that stuff. I'll blow the dirt. Yeah. That's what I do, and clean it up and make it look better.
So did you got snow then?
It was mainly just ice here, sleet and ice.
Yeah,
and then they're calling for this weekend, like for us, like a 10 centimeters or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that'll be a lot. I mean, that's huge for us, right?
Yeah, it is. It's moved the wheat market just a little bit because of the frost. They're afraid the winter wheat's going to freeze, but they said there's enough snow to insulate it, and we're like, oh, damn it, we missed our rally. But they're still cold down there, you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So
it's 38.
We might get a weather rally yet.
Let's see, it's 38 now, which is, Brad will be able to see, that's what, about 3C maybe?
38, yeah, about there.
See, I'm getting good. I'm getting good at the conversions. I'm getting better. Getting better with it, that's for sure. because what I'll typically do when I'm talking to you guys, actually saying it's 35. I'll go in here and switch my little weather thing to C real quick just to see. Oh, it's only 1 C. That's what they're saying right now. So freezing is where we're at. And listen to this. For us, on Saturday, it's going to be a high of -1 C and a low of -9.
Wow.
-9. Wow.
-9. That's pretty cold for you.
Oh, yeah. This weekend, I mean, Sunday we have a high of 2 C and a low of -9. So
Wow.
that's.
I think we're -25 today. I forget what it. I was behind the desk all day here.
-24 here right now. High of -17 today. So it was pretty decent. I was out most of the day. Well, I mean, driving around, but I was out of the truck quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's a pretty reasonable day. It wasn't even windy in the city, though.
You didn't get wind, eh? That's
Not
weird.
in the city. Not here. There's like 6 west at 6. Hey, Big Mike.
Friday,
hey, everyone.
I'm talking to a group of 35 homeschool children. And it's not in a classroom. That's going to be fun. It's going to be cold outside. Nice. And so I don't even know what I can show them outside because it's not going to have I'm not going to have like a computer or a board or anything like that. So I imagine I'll just take pieces and parts of a beehive.
I think if you want to know how to pull something like that off, there's a video somewhere that you can see Ian actually doing the waggle dance for some school kids.
Yeah, so, I've done that too.
You know, that's actually that's pretty entertaining.
That's a hit. Yeah, it is a hit. I tell you should do that, Bob.
Actually, I actually did plagiarize your method last time I spoke to a group of students. I used Starburst instead of, I think you used Skittles or something when you did yours, right? Some candy.
Skittles, yeah. One time I did it at a country fair, and I put the Skittles down beside this pole because, you know, I'm talking bees, and I put the Skittles down by this pole, and some kid ripped my Skittles off on me. It's like, hey, little buggers.
He took it back to the hive.
Yeah, I guess so. A robber bee is a robber.
It was a robber bee. That's funny right there.
So last time I did that is I took multiple Tupperware dishes, right? Little plastic dishes, and I put some in each one. And it was a full cafeteria of 4th grade students, right? Year 4 students. And by the time we were done, we had one big container in the center, and then they would go to the different containers and come back and waggle dance to their friends, and everybody put it in the one container because that was like kind of like the hive, right? They were all bringing it back to the hive, and then at the end, because it was so many different classes, it wouldn't be fair if the first person got like 100 Starburst, and the last guy, when we stopped, it had 1 because he had to sit there the whole time, right?
Hey, that's a smart idea. I like that. Yeah.
So we put it back into the hive, and then at the end, every teacher got to take some for their students, right? And it went well.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. And
well,
just engaging with the kids like that and teaching them, like the one teacher told me, this is a pretty good job teaching kids recruitment.
Yeah.
I said, well, yeah, but it's the life of a hive.
Well, so the girl that I made that PB&J honey, it's her and her brothers and their homeschool group. So I'm going to try to have her a special label made for that PB&J creamed honey, because her mom suggested that I bring honey because the moms will want to buy honey when I go.
Nice.
So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have something with her. It has her name on it somewhere, right? Just to make it cool experience for her. So it's gonna be fun. But so far, I mean, it feels bad right now.
Bob, I mentioned that PB&J to John Russell, and he just thought that was the greatest idea.
It has been pretty good as far as, especially when you give the backstory that, you know, because
that
customer's not
story
there.
is amazing, man. That story is amazing.
So we just made it, and it works pretty well. Now, if it gets too warm, I'll tell you this: if it gets too warm, it'll kind of start looking like a amalgamation of mess right there, right? Because they don't really hold separation too well
Yeah.
once it gets warm. But as long as you
Well,
keep it cool, which hasn't been a problem,
that's creamed honey, right?
it
Don't want it to get warm.
does pretty well. But we've even this month, and I got to keep reminding myself this because, like we were saying, I've been unable to sit out there for a week and a half as far as bringing income in on the table. I'm still over $3,000 this month. It's not like we didn't have a okay month. I just had higher aspirations for this month, and then weather took hold. So, and if I was crazy, I could still sit out there because it was actually sunny today. It just didn't feel like someone had the sun turned all the way down.
Get that Michelin Man parka George Costanza style, and sit out there, Bernie Sanders style.
Sit out there all puffed up. But yeah, it's been it's been an interesting month, but nothing compared to you guys up in the real snow, right? Everybody on here has real representation of snow, but the difference is your states and provinces can handle that, right?
Well, yeah, and we're stuck with it for another couple of months.
Yeah, you just gotta have it. But when you don't have salt or anything, I mean, look at James. James came down for a meeting, and it got canceled because of the snow. He came from Canada to the States, and his meeting gets canceled because of the snow. But it is the world we live in down here for sure. For sure. So you guys got any big plans, any changes in the what you're planning to do with your bees this year? I know we've talked about it like every week, and every week it's like, no, it's just snow. We're gonna have to wait out the winter and see what happens, right?
Yeah, just getting quotes in for my shed I'm building. So just getting some of the things finalized on that. Everything has been kind of put into place, and just I'm hammering out some details on that. It's going to be a big shop, boy oh boy.
It's going to be a total separate building from the one you got now, or are you expanding onto the one you have?
It's going to be attached onto the side. Yeah.
Okay.
So direct access from the extracting room straight into it, and then my where I'm sitting now, my little closet. This is going to be a hallway where they can put their jackets and bee suits, so they actually have a place to put them. And then my lounge is just going to be to the back side, about the same size, maybe a little bit bigger than what's here now. No, it's going to be bigger. And then they can kind of get away from things over there. The neighbors come in or business happens. I can't get away from the guys. So this will help separate things.
That'd be good.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. It's going to free things up. I'll be able to operate more colonies through this place. It'll just reduce the redundancy of moving things 3 or 4 times because I don't have any space. And I'll keep my hot room closed too, which is going to save me money. In September, it gets a little bit colder, or later in August, and opening the doors all the time, moving honey out, moving boxes out, moving honey in. It's just all this stuff. The heater's just spinning off its top. So I'll be able to keep those doors a little bit, keep them closed a little bit more. That's going to help things.
All right, now, is that planned to be finished this season? It'll be done this season?
Yeah, going to start when the frost comes out. We're going to build the foundation floor, and then on top should be done. Contractors, they won't want to work with bees flying around, so
right.
The deadline will be July.
Right. I see Matt's trying to come in, but his camera hadn't connected yet, or his device has not connected.
Yeah, it's gonna be $100,000 for the concrete, though. It's quite a lot. Yeah, well, maybe not quite that much, but
are you putting any hydronic or anything in it?
No,
just straight.
I should. My brother wants me to, because I don't know how to plan for it, because it's going to be a cold storage building. It's going to be a cold storage building as long as I can see out. But when I want to change the function of that facility, then I might want to put some type of floor heat or something in like that. But I don't know that now, and I don't know how to plan ahead. So, I could put it in, but what's use? It's not going to be any use. So I don't.
And once you put hydronic in too, and then you kind of change or you want to do something else, and you want to put an anchor in or nail something to the floor,
Yeah.
you you got some work to do.
So I think we might just go without
Hey,
it.
Matt.
Hey, Matt. Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good, good.
Good.
So
Hydronic is nice, but I found it, my wood shop building's hydronic floor. Boy, it's expensive to run.
It is. Yeah. I have electric boiler in mine too. And it's convenient, but it's costly.
Yeah.
You should have.
It feels good. Like my floor is nice and warm. My feet are warm right now.
Oh,
In the
yeah.
hot room, the warmth goes up from the floor, every corner, up through the honey
Yep.
boxes. It's
Yep.
absolutely beautiful.
Get any moisture,
wouldn't
snow, or
change it.
anything, it just melts and evaporates right away. It's really nice. What are you
Yeah.
saying, Doug?
I said you should have Saskatchewan hydro rates.
They're pretty high.
Oh,
Yeah,
Boy, I would hate that. My hydro's high enough.
that's what we have, electric boiler in the honey house too.
oh yeah.
I put a supplementary space heater in mine so that when I just found that if I open an overhead door or two in the winter, the air cools off right away, but the whole thermal mass of the building doesn't, right?
Yeah.
But then when you close the doors, the air is cold for a little while until the mass of the building warms it up. But of course, the air is cold and the boiler goes bonkers. And it'll have that floor 25, 30 degrees by the time it shuts off.
Yeah.
So it's huge waste of energy. So I've got that space heater. So when the air cools down like that, it kicks in and gets some heat into the air, just so the boiler doesn't have to do the whole thing.
I have the same arrangement in the honey house for the same reason. It sure works nice in that way. You know what happened today? Gee whiz, I got tired of reconciling credit card statements, so I went and blew some snow. So I went and got the tractor in the shop. It's in the shop. It's nice. So I open the door, drive the tractor out, close the door, drive down the lane, and then my neighbor comes by. I'm blowing snow for about an hour and a half, and he comes in and he says, "Your shop door is open." I'm like, "What? The shop door?" I guess sometimes the light shines just perfectly to kick the door stop. The emergency
Oh, I've
stop.
had that
Opened
happen.
it back up, so the damn thing was open for an hour and a half.
Yeah. Oh my
Minus
goodness.
20 degree weather. And he says, "What? Propane doesn't cost you anything on this farm?" Gee whiz.
Yeah, that's a money waster.
So Mike was out plowing snow today, I think.
Yeah.
How much snow did you guys end up with down there?
First batch was about 18 inches, and we got another 4. And we're supposed to get possibly another northeaster this Sunday. Well, my nukes, I can't see them anymore, so that's a good sign.
They're all under the snow now?
Yeah, it's just a row of humps.
That's what's been going on with you, Matt?
Not a whole lot, really. Kind of the same thing, just kind of bored. Not a whole lot going on with the bees. We did have some cooler temperatures. We were down to about -2 last night and -5 the night before. So that's pretty cold for eastern Missouri, but about 10 inches of snow. So might have some fly days the end of next week. We'll see. But this is primarily the peak of our winter right now for the next couple weeks at least.
Been making a lot of fondant?
Yeah. Yep. Been keeping busy at it. A lot of orders have been coming in, which we're thankful for, and we're pumping out a couple 100 pounds a day, at least being shipped out. So I try to stop by there at least twice a day, maybe in the morning and afternoon. So
now,
yeah,
one of those blocks that I've seen Joey and Todd on their videos, how many pounds are in one of those blocks?
The blocks in their videos were 35s.
35 pounds.
Yeah, I pour them in various sizes depending on what people's needs are, but 35s and 25s primarily are the easiest to ship out.
Looks like they fit almost perfect in that box.
Yeah. Yep. I actually form them in that box. Basically, just like I took my model, if you will, from European videos and watching how they have that baker's fondant in that big box, and kind of thinking about what a pain.
Box and pour it in.
Yeah, what a kind of a pain in the butt that whole process looks like, and how I could try to minimize it as much as possible. But to be honest, at the price I'm selling it for, that it's I have to just basically form it and pour it. Otherwise, I'd have to charge to bag it up individual. It just comes down to time.
Well, you're sure providing good service. Everybody really enjoys that stuff. But
I appreciate that, Brad. Thank you.
I
I'm
watched
glad.
your video. You were on Brian's association there. I watched that video. That was a good description of what you're doing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm so new at the whole thing, so public speaking is just as new as the rest of it, Contractor by trade, so I don't get in front of people very often. So
Ian's looking for pallet. I think
by next week, please.
yeah, sure. I'll get right on that. Yeah. But yeah.
That's probably the biggest challenge with any of these things, especially like on YouTube. I mean, here there's 6 of us talking, right? Just like we'd be standing around drinking a cup of coffee or something like that, just chatting, right? So it makes it a little bit easier. But sometimes when you're in front of a group of people, like everybody here has probably spoke to a larger group. Yeah, it can be a little bit intimidating, especially to for me, just keeping my train of thought and where I want to go, because I very easily can squirrel, squirrel and go off a different direction, right?
No.
Yeah. I wish I had a little bit more of like a Zoom presentation or something I could stick by, because I'm all over the place with my mind anyway. So if I have to focus and talk on one specific thing, I got to remember all the questions I'm asked and try and get them in order and all that. So it's just tougher than it looks, for sure. But it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
Brian says, "Can one of you Canadians please come take your weather back, please?"
Yeah.
I didn't think you were supposed to have our weather. It was the tariff was too high.
100% tariff on snow. Actually, 1,000% tariff.
That's why it's so severe, because it's 100% worse than it should be. Because of the tariff.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing in the bees, the little bit that I've seen, I haven't really pulled too many frames, but I know, talking with Mark Miller a lot, he's actually showed me a brood frame pretty much wall to wall, maybe at least the side, front and back side of that frame, and an adjoining frame. A brood frame I would be proud of come mid-spring, so being at the middle to end of January, that's probably a little bit more than he was expecting in Tennessee. But I think I would venture to say that we're having a little brood in our colonies too, for sure. Even before the pollens are really even able to be sourced, at least to some degree.
Well, I was feeling good about mine a few weeks ago, and then we got this cold snap. And one thing I learned dealing with Brad is going back and looking after a snowstorm and seeing, you can really tell in the brood, if you go back 2 weeks or so you'll be able to see, hey, we had some weather thing happen here, whether they went back and cannibalized it or what they did to, maybe the chill brood or something like that, and then cleaned it out. And that's something that I never even thought about before, really. Until you look back and you're like,
I don't know how useful that is, but I notice it every spring. I can look in there and you can see the last, at least 8 days. Like, you can see the interruption of that progression of brood from sealed brood all the way to nice plump brood, all the way down to eggs. You can see that normal progression all the way out. And then after that stretch of warm weather, it's like sealed brood surrounded by eggs, right?
Right.
And you can see what's been going on for the last 7 to 8 days. And And again, I don't know how useful that observation is, but it's a pretty stark observation once you see it.
Yeah, so mine were, a few weeks ago. It was nice sunny days outside and warm, and check a hive, and oh yeah, lots of eggs. Everything looks good, and then you get a cold snap a couple weeks later, and it's like, don't know what it's like. I haven't even checked it recently because of the freezing. So we'll see in the next couple weeks. Typically, people here start to try to split around the middle of February. I don't know if that'll be the case now because of the freezing weather. We'll see. Might be a little bit of a delay now.
I watched Ian's video of checking for brood in the shed there, and I thought, well, it's pretty brave. And then I thought, okay, Ian, gloves are off. I'm gonna go and do a brood check in my shed. And the next day, I chickened out.
Oh, yeah. Here, I thought you were going to tell us something about brood, ready?
Yeah. I was sitting on the edge of my seat, and what did you find? I'm not as bold as I thought I was.
It's hard. Like working with a colony in a winter shed. The bees have been in for a few months. It is. Those bees are just like this, and they're not letting you pick the frame up, and you're squishing bees, and it's hard, and then crawling up your arms and into your jacket. Like it's not easy.
They crawl everywhere. And plus, here's my excuse: I don't wear gloves managing bees in the summer for sure, and I don't even know where my gloves are, even if I have any. So that's my excuse.
I'm quite curious though, Brad, just to pop open the lid in one of those colonies is bearding. You'd never dig into it. There's way too many bees in there. But
That's
just the curiosity is killing me. What's going on down inside those few?
Ian, the ones you checked, they were on the smaller side, right?
Yeah, they were.
Did you check any of the big ones at all?
I stopped when I stopped. I haven't been back in the shed since then. The ones that I opened
I
up
wonder if there was even more brood in them.
I'm not sure, and I bet you maybe. I can't, I don't know. I really don't know. I guess I can make assumptions, and you would think it would, but I don't know if it necessarily would. I really don't know.
So here's an idea. It doesn't replace, eyeballing that brood nest, but if you were able to get a temperature probe down through the feed hole plug, or the feed hole, and get it right kind of down into the cluster, you should see by the temperature of that cluster if they're raising any considerable amount of brood or not, because the temperature will change.
That's a really good idea.
In there.
Yeah.
All right. So what we need you to do next time you do a video, Ian, is you need to go through all of your colonies, all of the stacks, every hive on the top, to see if placement in the building has anything to do with the actual brood production in there.
Oh, boy.
If in the center of the, where it's less airflow, possibly, if you're
map out the whole wintering shed.
Yeah,
it would probably gather some useful information. It'd be a lot more enjoyable than reconciling credit card statements. I'm telling you that much. Maybe I'll do that.
When you check yours, Brad, do it in shorts, and your viewers.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
Authenticity. T-shirt and shorts.
Oh, that'd be painful.
That's enough out of you.
That's
Don't give me crazy ideas.
So someone asked me, Peabody's apiary asked me, did I have any drones? Not that I'm aware of yet. Probably they're not going to start producing the drones till the population in the colony gets large enough. And at this point, with the cold snap, I would say that the colony's not large enough because there will be bees die, right? So, but with that being said, yesterday afternoon it got up to about 44 degrees Fahrenheit, and I had hives with bees flying. So, where they were going and what they were doing, who knows? It was too cold to find anything. But they probably just pooping in the yard and coming back, right?
I need to wear a helmet.
To know if Ian got a LADDER.
Oh. Well, that's how you spell those things, eh?
That's how you spell it. You're trying to Google it.
What is he talking about?
Well, you were when you were working those, you were looking into those colonies. I was watching. I was just shaking my head, and I couldn't help but think, Lloyd's interns did this all winter,
Oh,
every
I know.
12 days.
Isn't that
Can you
something?
imagine? And not one or two colonies, and they counted and marked them all.
Yeah. That was quite the feat. That is amazing, actually, when you think of it. Lloyd doesn't mention that part too often. Like, I don't think he did it. It was his interns that did that.
I wonder how many of them worked on that.
I talked to her name's Common, Julia Common from BC. I was at one of the BC honey producers meetings, and I brought up the graph, and I was talking about all this. And afterwards, she said, I was one of the ones that counted and painted all those bees. And I said, oh, were you? Yeah, Lloyd doesn't say that, does he?
Yeah.
He had a team to help him with that.
It's Lloyd's work.
She was very, very appreciative of all that work that Lloyd had done.
Yeah.
At that time. It was quite
That's absolute gold for us, because
is.
that's the only place in the world it exists.
It is. Yeah, there's a lot of other studies that will refer back to his work in regards to that predictability. It's quite amazing. You'd think somebody would update that, but it must be just a terrible feat.
Nobody's crazy enough to go in the shed every 12 days all winter.
No kidding.
And do that. I can't
Because
imagine.
from 1970 until now, you think with all their breeding and the pressure of varroamite and all these other dynamics, it'd be interesting to see what kind of differences there are. I bet you there's not too many, but I bet you the broodlessness in the winter is maybe more pronounced. Although I found brood in my shed here this last time I was in there, so I don't know. There's a lot of things we do on assumptions, don't we?
Is that a surprise for you, Ian? Because I think typically, it's been the assumption that you're broodless during that period.
I typically find no brood in my colony. Well, kind of like a peppered shotgun, like just kind of like that on a frame on the other side. Maybe I'll run into one with some brood, but the nest I run into, like you wouldn't see it on the camera. And I was watching myself, and I sounded a little bit excited, and I did, because it is a very well defined, lush brood nest. The cap brood is emerging, and then around that was just this beautiful, lush, wet looking, just this just about the size of a teacup saucer of life. It's like,
that's
wow.
what surprised me, was the amount of open brood.
Yeah, and eggs around the outside, like every stage of brood was
wild.
In there. Yeah, I'm speaking tomorrow. I am. Yeah, I was just working on my presentation right now.
So with the brood, I mean, you typically don't see it, but you typically don't check everywhere in the colony either, right? I mean, in the winter, right? You just pop it up and kind of glance down at it most of the time.
Oh, I never pull frames. Not never. Like, I do dig down every once in a while, but not as a rule. It's just so hard.
Because I mean, here, we've talked about it in the past, where it's like, oh, well, I pretty much can assume I have brood all year round, right?
Yeah.
Some form or fashion. And up north, most people are like, no, we get winter bees, and they stay all winter long, and we don't have to worry about any brood until the spring. And that's kind of proving to not be the case.
See, Lloyd's work shows that there is brood, like as a rule, all through winter. But my spot checks, what does a spot check really mean, right? It's just a very small sample, random colonies. Like, I base all my management on spot checks, but it just gives you a very small picture of what's going on. And I rarely find brood. And my colonies come out of the shed broodless most of the time. Okay. Yeah, I can easily see it at that time. So there's definitely times that they're broodless, and there must be a promotion of brood going on in there now for whatever reason. Maybe they'll drift broodless again. I just don't understand it. It's foreign to me.
Well, I mean, you would think, I mean, if you look at one we assume one brood frame is about 3 frames of bees. So a smaller amount, since there's a die-off, wouldn't that sort of challenge the hey, our bees are alive for the whole winter until spring again, that there is a little bit of regeneration going on?
That's Lloyd's. Lloyd's argument is that the cohort, like there's a no, that's part of his argument. Like, he works in cohorts. It's the late part of fall is the winter cohort when you have that inflection where the bees switch from losing their life to preserving their life. Is a point of inflection he talks about, and he directly relates it to flight. And cold weather flight, same thing. When they stop flying, they increase a juvenile hormone, and it preserves their bodies supposedly. But the later subset will work itself through, and a good number of those will make it till spring. Like there's very old bees in that nest. I don't have it here, but it's like over 200 days, 250 days on that last cohort. But there's also that new one being developed all the way through winter. So they have that very young cohort being built as it goes through. So there's subsets, right?
So it's a very, I mean, to me, it's an interesting topic because, especially in talking to all of you that are in much colder climates than I am, I try to, even when I try to implement things that I see you guys doing up north as much as I can. And gosh, it kind of, I don't know. I don't want to get out on too big of a tangent because my mind goes like 50 different places. But it's been my argument with down here that bees are bees, and they follow the same processes, right? Now, may there be a larger die-off in you guys' situation because of the cold, where my bees don't have to stay in the colony necessarily 6 months, but there's always that regeneration. I might have even on a small colony, I might have a small patch of brood, but it's right around where the cluster's hanging and keeping that warm. It's just like a continuous regeneration. And I think in just watching people's videos and talking, and I don't think that's common belief all the time. It feels like most people think, oh, whatever it is in the winter, that's what's going to make it till the spring, and then they're going to start up again in the spring whenever the conditions start getting right. But that really flies, what we're talking about now kind of flies directly in the face of that, to where no, there's always a regeneration going on.
See, his work is actually work done in Manitoba. So like Brad and I, like that data that's been collected is our data. Those are our conditions. And Randy, with his work, has kind of modeled it for other regions within the world, really. Like he has been able to fix the data up to be able to, expand the summer season or contract it, and the type of winter season. He's done the same with the mite modeling too. It's quite brilliant for the amount of time he put into all that work. So your bees are flying, they're dying, and that's the old rule of thumb as far as I'm concerned. So if they're dying, that means they have to regenerate themselves, and that's why they have to brood. Yeah, I actually, a beekeeper reached out to me. He said that one colony, he said, had a lot of brood. It probably has mites because they're brooding up, and that, a broody nest in the winter sometimes is a sign of a sick colony because they're trying to outpace the sickness, being the mite. So I took a sample, and I couldn't find a mite, but that doesn't mean they're not in the brood. But I've also seen what it looks like when a colony is trying to chase themselves away from disease with brooding, and the bees act a lot different. They're sick and they're runny, and they're just not a very healthy, structured nest. Where the ones that digging in there, I'm not sure if you've seen on the video, but I was pulling them up, and they're just slabs hanging there like this. They're just very content and just beautiful. Smelt so nice. It was an amazing nest. I actually really enjoyed that, other than the stings. But I'm still guessing because I'm looking down into that nest. I'm just guessing what's going on because it's very unfamiliar to me. I'm just trying to figure it out.
We need to get him on a stream.
Oh boy.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, there'd be like 5 hours later.
Hey, you know,
He's a
this
brilliant
cat
fellow,
would
but he
sustain it.
talks at levels.
Yeah.
He'll talk, he'll be here, and then all of a sudden his mind goes like this, and you're like, Lloyd, come back here. I'm losing you.
And
What were
you
your
know,
store? What were your stores like in those, Ian?
Those the smaller ones, the ones I opened up were a little bit smaller clusters just so I could get into them, and they had feed on hand. They're good, but I'm a little bit concerned about the bigger ones I have, whether or not they're consuming the feed. A commercial guy reached out to me a week and a half ago about the bees leaving the storage sheds going to California for pollination, and he said that they think it's because of the warm fall they had and the bees are too active in the shed. There's a lot of starvation coming out of the sheds. So that he was just seeing the beginning of it. He wasn't sure how things are going to follow through, and I haven't heard yet. But my shed's been very nice and tight and cold because that cooler I have, I made sure. So I don't know what to think. I need to dig into more, I guess. I need to dig into the bigger ones, I guess. But they hefted heavy, so that's a good sign.
Yeah.
That means there's feed in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, you just have your winter body now, so your winter body is weaker than the summer body when you're hefting hives. They just felt that.
I thought that. I walked by the mirror and I'm thinking, like, geez, I'm just getting a little bit pudgy here. My jeans are a little bit tighter than in the summer.
That'd be a cool chat, having Lloyd and Randy on the same chat, like in the same chat where they're discussing things back and forth, and you just kind of sit back in wonderment, right? Saying, letting the minds discuss their topics and bounce ideas off each other. That would be a cool chat.
Yeah, I think
In my
they follow the same, like they follow Lloyd's data set, but it is a data set, and just trying to decipher what that information means, and the two don't agree on some of the aspects of the data they're seeing. So that would be very interesting. I would enjoy that too. And it all comes to the point of inflection. What does that point mean? Lloyd says, well, it is a point where it's as long as I'm understanding him correctly, it's the point where the bees stop flying. It's cold, and at that point, the bees at that stage within their cohorts are the ones that move on along like that. I refer to them as winter bees, and Lloyd doesn't agree with that whatsoever. But Randy, if I can understand him correctly, I think he's more thinking of the bees set themselves, the last cohort sets themselves up with the fat stores, and they preserve the nutrients, and they are the winter bees. And that it's just listening to the two talk, they talk differently about the same thing. It's quite interesting.
And if they do get an argument, that'd be in a perfect place for my chat. So
and I'm just trying to, like Brad and everybody else, I'm just trying to decipher the work that they're doing. So everybody sees everything just on a little bit of a different lens, right? I'm very intimidated when I'm in a convention and I'm talking about Lloyd's work and Randy's prepared work and referring it to the way I see it, because here's the geniuses right there that maybe don't see it quite the same way I do, but they're also looking to see how I'm just understanding it and how I'm relating it to my world of work. I think
I enjoy talking to Lloyd, but he's so far beyond me.
He is.
I want to respect him. He's such a great guy, but I just have a hard time keeping up to where he is. He's so smart. He's got so much of this research behind him.
That's I mean, you definitely respect people for the work they put in, but so much, like Ian was saying, so much of it basically is interpretation of what they've done, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why I think a lot of times in beekeeping, at least with the YouTube community, you see a lot of people reinventing the wheel on different things, right? They're not really doing anything new. They're taking somebody else's idea and just respinning it into a different idea, right? Not good or bad.
There's nothing wrong with that, because that's the scientific principle, right? Duplication.
Right.
If you make a big discovery and you say, okay, this is the way it works, well, duplicate it. If you can't duplicate it, it was a fluke.
It doesn't mean anything.
right? So it's good if more than one person comes up with the same conclusion.
You know, I was preparing for this presentation I'm giving to the Ontario beekeepers tomorrow, and one of the points in there, well, my presentation's about preparing for the season ahead. So what I did was, I went through you got to count your number of colonies you have, and you got to, order the sub, and you got to order the queens, and all this kind of course, duh stuff. I thought I'd put a little bit more context into it. So I retraced my last year and just observed what I'm doing, where I found problems, and how I think I should address it in that. And of course, I fall into mite control. So I go into Randy Oliver's mite modeling, and I'm playing around with that thing, and I'm looking, and it just kind of dawned on me, like, you know how you have situations where you have the mites under control, you're shaking zeros, there's no mites there, and so maybe you pull back in treatments or whatever, and then you reassess in the spring, or I mean reassess in the fall, and you have yards that are fine, then yards are just, out of control. It just, where did all these mites just all of a sudden come from? I had everything under control. Now when I reassess, things are exploding here, but this yard's good, but that yard's not. No rhyme nor rhythm to any of it. So I'm playing around with Randy's mite modeling, and I enter very low mite counts at the beginning of the season. But the thing I'd never appreciated before was the mite drift that apparently is spread around within the apiary, within between bee yards and between neighbors and such. Randy has it so you can plug and play different values there. So if you have your mites under control, it's going to show mite migration into your colony a lot differently than if you are in like a heavy populated area of managed colonies. It's going to be different than if you have a neighbor that's having a problem. And I'm thinking that's maybe what it is, just for lack of maybe treating these mites. We have mite bombs, and every yard's a little bit different with the amount of problems we have. So that just one or two or maybe five in another yard, just that exposure. And then a neighbor over there maybe is having a big problem we're not seeing, that migration's coming in. That migration counts up to a lot of mite population at the end of the season. So that beekeeper who has everything under control maybe becomes complacent and doesn't catch the problem in the fall. Next spring, they're wiped right out, just like that. And that's just from mite migration. That's all taking Randy's work at face value, of course. I'm doing that.
No,
because I have no other way, one way or the other. But it's just very interesting, just observing the behavior of not only the bees but the mites themselves that were within these nests. That's the kind of brilliance that Lloyd and Randy has brought to our industry. It's just bringing us the understanding of our colonies, helping us manage them a lot better. I just can't say that enough.
Is there any studies that any of you guys are aware of, as far as, I was halfway joking about checking in your building, like the top down, where things are located in the building. Has anyone ever done anything like that? Like you see behind Brad in his photo, he's got an apiary and he's got hives set out. And I know everybody documents this hive had 6 mites or whatever, and you go down and every hive is getting their counts. Has anyone been able to see, as far as like mites, hey, in my apiary, on this end of the apiary, there's more mites than on the other end or in the middle, or kind of how they're concentrated in a colony? Because I've often, in my apiary, I noticed that hives in certain locations seem to do substantially worse than hives in other locations in the yard. So I wonder if any of that plays into that type of situation. Like here, I could say, well, the ones that are closer to the house, I find more hive beetles in because they don't get sun as quick as the other ones, or something like that.
Wouldn't that correlate to just drift? Just bee drift? Wouldn't that kind of correlate to that?
It could, but I mean, it doesn't mean that that's the only reason that happens, or could it be, I'm just
Yeah.
curious. I just
Yeah,
wondered if
you'd have to
anybody ever.
shake every colony to be able to, gather enough information to find that out. I understand what you're saying. For me, I would never know because I move my colonies all the time. So, that little bit of drift that maybe provide those certain circumstances to promote disease in one area or another, it'd be all mixed up. And again, because I move them to another yard. Yeah. But I know what you're saying. There's probably circumstances around that.
The other question is, has anybody ever figured out where the mites are in nature, where the bees are picking them up from? I mean, mites have to have a preference on what kind of, I don't know, flower or something that they like to hang out on that bees are getting into that would
I don't
help.
know if it's so much that, if it's more so just the bees getting lost and drifting within the yard itself, or the work that he's done regarding the drift between yards itself. Drones are terrible for that, apparently. Drifting from one yard to another yard. So then you have this reintroduction of the pest that way. There might be on the flower. I really wouldn't know that.
I mean, you figure they
There
have to
was
be
a,
somewhere that the bees have to pick them up originally, right?
there was an
What,
there
what'd you
was
say,
an
Doug?
online workshop last week, and that's mainly what it was about, was mites. I said there's an online workshop last week, and mainly it was on mites and drift. And I couldn't hardly believe the amount of drift the bees were doing within an apiary. The mites, they don't live very long off the bees, but they had instances where there was a mite on a flower. When the bee attended the flower, the mite was just like a magnet. It just jumped right onto the bee. But they said that's very unusual to have them outside of the hive.
Mm-hmm. How would they ever document a mite on a flower like that? Did they set the plate? Like, did they
They,
put a mite on the flower?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw that video. It's pretty incredible how quick it gets up there too.
Yeah, it's almost like static electricity. It just sucks right to it.
yeah.
Kind of like a flea, right? In the yard,
Mhm.
flea just hopped
Yep.
on you. That's interesting.
For a bug with no eyes too. That's what I was amazed with. A bug with no eyes, it navigates so well. It knows exactly where it's going.
I mean, this is just my personal opinion, guys. So I don't represent anybody in this group that I'm aware of. So I will
say?
preface that. I'm going to say some wild shit right now.
This is a good start.
Maybe I'll log off.
Oh, okay,
Here,
see ya. Bye.
carry on.
Good
So,
prelude.
well, it's just my opinion is that, over the last 30 years plus, we've been, as beekeepers, have been trying to combat the varroa mite. That maybe, obviously keeping it down in the colony is what we all want to do, but there's got to be something outside of the colony that we can do to help keep those numbers down in some aspect. And whether it's finding out, mites came from somewhere, right? If my cat gets fleas, it's probably because I've walked through the yard and I picked the fleas up and brought them inside where she is. So at some point, somewhere, these mites are outside of the colony, because how can you have a zero? How can you shake a zero, put them into winter, and then come out and have mites in the spring?
Because you're only shaking 300. There's many thousands.
Well,
You may have just got the 300 without a mite.
yeah, that is
And
true.
mite growth is you play around with that mite modeling, because you start with one mite in the spring, and that mite, you will never find it through the spring, but that population shows up in the fall. The growth is tremendous. They talk about the trophy mite. I won't get into trophy mite discussion. I won't bring it unless you guys talk about it. But the trophy mite, apparently, the growth is much more severe than that. That's
as he brings trophy mite conversation. I'm not going to do this, but if we do talk about this is what I'm going to talk about.
I think the problem we have in Canada is we experience these losses because of the mite. And then we control the mite within our apiary, but then we bring bees in to replace these losses, and we just reintroduce potential, reinfestation.
Is that a? Obviously, we look at our own countries and apiaries and regions on what everybody's trying to do in those areas. But like you said, bringing them back in the spring. I know Canada is probably much stricter than we are here in the States as far as bee control. I mean, obviously, you guys don't get bees from the United States, so that's. But do the countries that Canada gets bees from, are they kind of like vetted for their processes there, or once you get them from that place, does it kind of get on a banned list? Hey, we can't get them from there anymore, or how does that process work?
I'll talk about it if you want.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, we don't import from any country that has. You're talking trophy mite specifically,
Well,
right?
well, we won't say trophy mite because just mites in general.
Okay. Well, we do import from countries that do have varroa mite. That's a little bit different. They manage the varroa mite now on imports if we can kill it here with the tools we have. So if we can't kill it here with the tools we have, then we can't bring it in. So that's basically the criteria CFIA uses to bring bees in for varroa mite. There is no control. Well, there is control for the trophy mite, but it's deemed as if there's trophy mite, there's no trade. Period. So the countries we import bees in from right now do not have trophy mite. You need to understand there's a working relationship between our government and their government, and the control of the trade of animals and not wanting to spread pests. So there's constant surveillance, ensuring that the colonies are healthy, making sure that the pest levels are where they're supposed to be. They're getting a health certificate. What we're doing in Canada is we're just asking another question on top of this, the surveys they're doing now. What is that country doing in regards to the trophy mite preventative measures? Because there is a bit of a spread going on with the trophy mite in regions getting close to Europe. What are you guys doing? How is the country acknowledging the threat and then managing accordingly to ensure they don't get infested, so then we don't? So we're asking those questions now, and maybe if we're not hearing the right answers, maybe we'll be lobbying to stop imports from certain countries until we're satisfied, right? So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Right. Well, you said something interesting about the varroa mite when you said if we can kill the varroa mite, then you can kind of bring it in. But I will make an argument that I'm going to go cup half empty on this, right? So I don't believe we can, at this current stage, we cannot kill the varroa. Can we kill varroa mites? Yes. But can we eliminate varroa mites? No. So if that's the case, then not to get into politics or anything, but then as far as getting them from the States, I mean, if the only thing that you're worried about from the States is varroa mite, I know it's probably not, but I'm just using that as an example, then there's really no difference from any bee that you're getting from anywhere else, other than possibly killer bee genetics, but that's a whole different topic, right?
It gets pretty tied up in the weeds with that issue with talking American trade.
There's a lot of controls that you don't even see or know about. When we shipped honey to China, for instance, the pellets we used, they had to be all on kiln dried wood, so there was no chance of
Wood
moving
beetles.
insects. And that works this way too.
Right. That's it is. I mean, it's interesting, all of the different little nuances of beekeeping that really aren't beekeeping, right? I mean, as far as the trade and the different aspects from that situation, is that
one of the things is just the threat of the pest spreading through the ports, because there's a lot of sea-can movement all over the world. And there's a case documented coming out of India going into Jersey where there's a swarm and there's a trophy mite, on that swarm. They detected it, and the measures followed through. They destroyed it. So those are the questions we're also asking these countries we import bees. And like, are you recognizing the potential risk through seaports. Like we're working with our port authorities now, just make sure that they understand the the severity and the importance of following proper protocols, because I do think this save the bees mentality, we're hearing
Right.
some examples down further south where the ports maybe aren't following those protocols because they want to save the bees, so they bring in a local beekeeper and relocate that swarm off that ship, whether or not that swarm originated from mainland or if it come from somewhere else. To
Well,
me, it doesn't matter if it's out on that ship and you're not really sure where it come from. You got to destroy it. Don't try to save the bees, right, by relocating it on
Mhm.
shore. That's very important. So
yeah,
I
because they're
think
actually killing
working
the
with the
bees.
port authorities is probably our number one, uh, you know, action right now that we're trying to reinforce the severity of, and then just asking if these other countries are doing the same thing.
Well, you would think. I mean, in if you've ever been to a seaport, which having been in the Navy, I've seen plenty of them. Those cargo ships with the sea cans on it have hundreds and hundreds and thousands of them, even at just sitting there waiting to get loaded onto ships.
Yeah.
And certain countries I would definitely trust processes if they were put into place. But I think even with that it would be a spot check, right? Hey, we've got 100 containers of bananas. Check 5 of them, you know, uh, and let us know what you see. Okay, everything on those 5 are good. Then they assume that everything on the other 95 are good, right? But certain countries I would trust that from, and certain countries I wouldn't. I mean, even like China, for instance, U.S. bans China honey imports. Well, they just send it to Vietnam or send it to another country, and then they relabel it and send it into the United States, right? Like a transshipping. So,
I know
yeah,
there's a lot of beekeepers working in the States on the ports. They're putting a lot of attention towards that. So I think there's good things happening just to put the preventative measures in. If the trophy might ever lands in the States, like if, let's say it comes into Florida, we deal, what is it, 250,000 queens come into Canada. Or is it 250,000 from the States, or is that total? Is that a couple of 100,000 anyway that come from California? So if the trophy mite does hit in the States anywhere, that's going to be stopped immediately. And we rely on those queens. I'm not sure where we would pick up the slack on that. Internally, I guess we'd have to do things internally. We'd have to change our management a little bit. And we would. I'm pretty sure we would. But it's nice tapping into those American genetics. Those are some pretty good queens. So things could change really easy, with the introduction of a pest like that. Then it just puts everything on its head.
Yeah, that's
that should be it for trophy mite discussion, though.
yeah. Hey, we got an hour left. You keep going, Ian. Since we didn't want to bring up trophy mite, and only if we brought up trophy mite would we talk about trophy mite. No, but that's kind of this whole chat is driven based on that, right? It's kind of the topic of the day, what people want to talk about and information. So that's I don't hear a lot of conversation about trophy mite. Yeah, I'm seeing some videos pop up and stuff like that, and it's definitely the new beast on the block, so to speak. But we haven't even gotten the old beast on the block under control yet, and we've got another one. So it's definitely going to be challenging times. But because everybody, beekeepers in general, I find are pretty free with knowledge for the most part. They'll share, if they're having success or failures. I think that's a lot of times nobody likes to make videos on failures, but I think sometimes the failures speak louder than the successes do, right? If everybody shared what they tried and didn't work, then it helps direct everybody into new things to try that might work, that type of thing. But that's just me. That's just my opinion.
No, I agree.
One guy.
If I didn't video my failures, I wouldn't have any content at all.
That's kind of like mine. It's just built on whatever's happening.
Oh
right?
well, that didn't work.
Yep, that didn't work. We'll go back to the drawing board. Think about Wild E. Coyote, man. Everything he ever tried to catch the Roadrunner failed, and to this day, and he's still trying.
So, Ian, having the brood now, and most likely it'll continue in small amounts, wouldn't you think you'd find more mites in the spring? Because they've got to be making them during this time.
If there's brood, mites are taking advantage of it. Yeah, I'd follow your train of thought. Depends on
But
how many mites are in the
usually
colony.
they're showing virtually nothing in the spring.
Yeah, and my colonies, once my mite treatment program followed through, I was shaking zeros, and I haven't seen a mite since. And I was looking for them. Not to say they're not there, because when the colonies went into the shed, there's still brood, so there's still place for them to hide. And maybe they're under the brood in there now. The brood might not be a good thing in this regards. I don't know. But the colonies look good, so I'm going to rest on that fact.
Do you
And
think
the brood nest itself looked good too. I've seen colonies that have veromite in them. They just are harder done. They just don't. They're not there, right? The health isn't screaming from the nest. These colonies that I was listening to myself in the video there, and I was getting excited looking at it because this is a springtime nest. Not the size of it, but the quality and the caliber of the brood was like a springtime brood nest. So I don't know.
I went and looked at some pictures. I got hit by a bear in 24. It was the 23rd of March. So our bees still aren't flying. And it knocked the hive over, and it kind of accordion. Then we got 2 inches of sleet. When I got there the next morning, sun was coming up, and the bees were poking their head out from under the frames.
Oh,
So I went and got a new bottom board and a fresh box, and I took the frozen honey frame off, and then quickly, I think I put 8 frames of bees back in, 8 frames in the thing, and 3 of them had capped brood, full
yeah.
sheets of capped brood in
Wow.
March, and mine are wintered outside, and I
Yeah.
was kind of shocked then, and I just put a Hive Alive fondant and put the winter cover on them, and I checked them 2 weeks later. Most of that capped brood had hatched.
Oh yeah.
And they had 8 full frames of bees then instead of 5.
Boy.
I don't want to speak for anybody in the shed, but that has a shed. But Norman, if you've ever been in these sheds, because I've been in 2 now, I've been in those 2 guys up the top there, and it would be logistically almost impossible, right? Because the actual moving of the beehives. I mean, and then if you're treating with OA, you're doing that in a semi-enclosed space, even though there's ventilation. So it makes.
When he says VOA, what does that mean?
I can only guess that he meant OAV.
OAV.
Oh, okay. Now I'm reading it right. Yeah.
Because I don't know what VOA is. I'm just assuming.
Boy.
And because people quite often mention that. And I haven't actually watched Phil's video on them trying that.
I just did it one winter and 200 colonies, and all the proper protection, and I was almost in a hazmat suit, and I was very strict about not opening things up, taking a breath of air in there or anything like that. I was covered right up till I left the shed. In the shed, treating those colonies like that, it's that oxalic acid vapor. Like I plugged the entrance with a wet towel as I went to keep the vapor in there, so I didn't have a lot of leak. But there's still leakage from the box, and when you move the device to another colony, you have leakage. So you're standing in a cloud of oxalic acid vapor. And I thought, oh, this is pretty neat. I was using those InstaVaps, the battery operated ones, really quick. I mean, it's just set up perfectly for this. But that evening, I was sitting in my easy chair, and I could feel my lungs right here. And I was thinking to myself, I don't love my bees that much. you know, I think there is just too much of a concentration of that oxalic acid that the proper protective equipment we're using, like those cartridges, they just fill up too quick. I'm pretty sure James is telling me when he was using his face mask and his cartridge, he had that cartridge tested at his place of work, and he said it was already 85% full. That's working like a day outside treating oxalic acid vapor. So here I am inside of a shed in the vapor in a big cloud. Those cartridges must just get plugged right up and the charcoal must get deactivated. I'm not even sure how it all works. But I think, that's maybe where I was getting some of the exposure. And when you consider the dust then that's laying on all that equipment and on the walls and everywhere, just that fine dust, you pick up an oxalic acid vapor device and go like this in front of your face and you'll cough because that stuff gets up in the air and into your lungs and it makes you gag. Not gag, but cough. It hurts. So you just think if you're going to spend 2 or 3 days putting that shit into this shed and have all that dust just there all the time, every time you go into that facility, you're going to be exposed to it on a continual basis. So,
and then because you have the airflow, you're probably also circulating that through your air conditioning system.
Yeah, well, exactly right. You can't get rid of it, so you have to pressure wash your place down. And now looking into my nests, and to be honest, my drop, there was veromite drop, but it wasn't consistent. So whether it wasn't consistent because the mite counts were inconsistent, or is it because the colonies are sitting like this and they're not moving and that vapor's not getting into that colony anyways, because they're so tight in that cluster like that. So how effective is it really in the shed at that time? And there's probably brood. So are we any further ahead, exposing our health in such a way to control those little mites? And I've rested to no, my life's worth way more. When I'm 75 years old and dying from lung cancer or some other health issue, I'll be thinking back in my life thinking I should have been a cattle farmer, So that's what I have to say about that. Yeah, I know there's guys that want to dabble with it and they think that I do it and they think they're proud because they want to do it and they want to be a big beekeeper and control mites because they don't like dead bees, but don't do it because it hurts. I don't think it's safe. So that's just my 2 cents on that anyways.
Ian, have you ever washed any of your drops? Do
no.
it like in a half-gallon jug, just to see
off the floor.
Off the floor.
Or maybe did I one time?
He could wash a whole friggin' wheelbarrow.
I thought you had.
I mean,
he could wash his drops in a cement mixer.
That's a good question. Sir, are the mites leaving the nest as the bees are dying? That's a really good question.
Well, because the bees are coming out. So if they're on the bee, they're coming out. They'd have to climb back up.
I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to shake a pail full of bees just to see if I can find a mite down there. I'll let you know.
That's yeah, we haven't seen the sweeping of the bees video this year yet.
Actually, there hasn't been a lot. I'm working on number 6 garbage bins.
Yeah. Hasn't been a lot. 6 55-gallon trash cans. That's it.
No, just a household leaf bin. I'm not sure how many gallons are in them. Yeah, not a barrel.
Their mites may leave a dead bee and go to a live one too. They might not be on the dead ones.
I wonder if they know the difference, eh?
That would be interesting. A 33-gallon drum, that's what it is. 33-gallon trash can. There's quite a few. I've been fortunate enough to experience that and do a sweep. Good times.
I know we've watched them a few times when checking out dead outs.
What'd you say, Mike?
I said we watched them a few times when checking out dead outs. To see if that might have been what the problem was.
Did you ever see any mites on a dead out?
A few.
But then it would.
It's easy to tell when they're starved out. because then you know what they died of.
Yep.
Well, I mean, even with let's say Ian goes out and does a whole wheelbarrow full of dead bees tomorrow, you still wouldn't know where those dead bees came from in the colonies or anything like that. It'd just be able to tell if they had them on it, right?
I was kind of talking with this company. They're at the Bee Expo. Terra Vera, I think it is. Steve Purnell is involved with the development of this. It's a organic type product, and it's they refer to it as being a very low dose disinfectant, like a bleach or whatever. And it doesn't hurt the bees, but it hurts the mites. Hurts it like it controls the mites very well. And they're talking to me about modifying this device to be able to vaporize the colonies to kill the mites in the shed. And they never got back to me. I'm not sure what happened there. So I think the research and development maybe just got put on hold. But I thought maybe that would have been a neat option, like this product that's not harmful to our bodies. Like it's just nutrients, or I'm not even sure what it is. Being able to treat the colonies in the shed, because there is opportunity, because we have them all in here, and at times of winter they are going broodless, and we can target the period to control these mites. There must be a way we can do it. But have you guys heard of that product, Terra Vera?
There was one that's they've got out that's keeping the reproductive of the mites off somehow.
Yeah, that's the
but that was pretty expensive.
Yeah, they price themselves out of reach.
Yeah.
Guys.
Biodegradable and pollinator-friendly solutions for agriculture.
There you go. It's those guys. Yeah. Go to the bee section, because they have horticulture. They control pests, like they're multifaceted. So there's a bee section in there.
Portable hive fogger. Then they have a high efficiency hive fogger. Appy Vera.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. I think I said Terra Vera.
Well, the name of the company is Terra Vera, but the product is called Appy Vera. They have one size. It looks like a 1 gallon jug. Amino acids, and it says, no, that's nutrients. Are you fogging nutrients on there?
Well, that's kind of how they explain it, eh?
Safe, effective, and easy to apply. Hive health nutrients work seamlessly with both foggers. It's $90 a gallon. Yeah. Looks like a gallon. But it doesn't really say.
But extended release should be pretty good for us late fall treatments, just prior to winter.
Yep, there's question around that too. Our tech program's working and trying to answer some of there's different experiences with it going into winter. Some guys seem to be able to use the product in their colonies through winter, and other guys are having terrible death because of it. So I never dabbled with it. I want to see more information on it.
So it says they're trying to use biomimicry for natural pest control. So it doesn't really say what's in it, but I guess what they're trying to say is they're trying to use some kind of nutrients and chemicals that are okay for the bees, but not so good for pests, right?
Yeah, so I was thinking that it's kind of benign to me as an applicator, so the safety factor's there, and if it kills mites, that could be something I could do through the winter period in the shed. So I was trying to get these guys to rig the device up so it would work on an indoor hive, and then they just ghosted me after that, so I'm not sure where they're at. But I noticed they're at the Bee Expo. Who was it? Fred Dunn, he did a video, just profiled them.
But it looks like they are still out there. Let me see. Where are they located? About the company. Everything except for where they're at. Doesn't really say where they're at. Oh, maybe if I hit contact. They're in New Mexico, the company. Corrales, New Mexico.
Yes.
So the,
Some of that innovation that's coming out, it's fascinating. It's just, I think they're pricing themselves out, and just like anything new coming out, it's going to start off probably higher than be able to come down, hopefully. But I don't know, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
yeah, it's always when it first comes out, right? It's a little bit high. Even the Naroa that I guess is partnered with Man Lake, it's just backyard beekeeper. Okay, you got 2 colonies, you can afford to do something. You know, if it costs $10 a hive, not a big deal. You're in $20, but you know, you start doing Ian and Doug and Brad sizes, and Matt, you've got a size, and Big Mike. Everybody here's got sizable operation, but me. You know, it adds up very quickly, right? Very quickly.
I think it was $28 Canadian to do a hive.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that math.
Is that the full treatment, or is there a successive follow up? Or
on the row, it's supposed to last what, 4 months? Doug, is that what they're saying? 4 months.
Yeah, I think so.
So you said it was 20.
But
what?
there's more than what?
26 a hive.
I
28.
think it was $28 Canadian, I think.
All right, 28 Canadian, and we'll say 1,500 hives. A cool 42 grand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Treat a commercial operation.
Oxalic
A lot of
acid.
packages for that.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, you can replace a lot of bees for 42,000, right? Divided
And
by.
it's not a knockdown. It's not a knockdown either. It's just a maintain.
So let's say you're paying $300 for a nuke. You could buy 140 colonies. So as long as your loss isn't 140, which is what, almost 10%, you can keep your losses under 10%. Then it doesn't make sense to buy that product. Basic numbers. Let's see. Catch up here with some chat.
Well, fellas, I think I'm going to get back to my presentation preparation. So, nice talking to you. I'll see you guys around.
Nice
Thanks
seeing
for
you.
We were just going to start talking about Tropal Alaps.
Oh,
Right. Shut up, you.
well.
Any truck updates?
Well, not quite yet. We have the engine pulled and tore down, and we're just at the point of there's a frost crack on the outside of the block. I have a machinist that might be able to fix it. I have nothing to lose. I have a bit of sentimental value from that engine. I want to keep it around, so I want to try to fix it. So that's the only reason why I'm doing it, because slant sixes are everywhere. You know, you find a block.
Well, there were.
Yeah. So I want to try to fix it, but it's a lot of fun. That's a beautiful engine, I tell you.
You going to redo the paint and everything, or are you just going to kind of get it up and running the way it is?
First things first. The intention of what I'm trying to do right now is I'm taking the truck from out of the bush into the shop, and I want to get the engine running, and I want to get the truck drivable, so the truck doesn't rot in the bush and it's sitting in the shop. And then in 25 years, my kids can fix it up if they want. And maybe with me, we'll see. So that's the intention behind this truck. Very low budget, just get it running again, keep it out of the bush, claim it, I guess. So
has Dad come down to look at the truck?
Pardon me?
Has your dad come down to look at the truck?
A few times. He won't help me though. No. No. Do you want to hear the story behind that truck?
Yes, please.
Back in 1970, my grandfather was harrowing a field in an old AR John Deere tractor, and he got out of the tractor, and there's a nail up in front of the tractor, so he put it in neutral, went to pick this nail up. or they think that's what he was picking up. And the clutch piled up, and the tractor drove over top of him, and he got stuck in the harrows behind, and the tractor was doing circles like this in the field. Ended up down in the creek right beside my house here. I have a dam here now, but at that time it was just a bit of a swamp. So that tractor ended up in the bottom, and he's in the harrows. My great uncle, used to live in this yard, so he picked my grandfather up out of the harrows, put him in the back of that truck that I'm fixing up, and he took him to the Swan Lake Hospital, and he died in the back of that truck. So that's why the truck's still around, because there's a little bit of history behind that truck. So isn't that terrible? And it was because of that, because of Grandpa's death, and maybe this would have happened anyways, but in Grandpa's will, he gave Dad first chance of refusal to buy the farm. So Dad borrowed way too much money and become a farmer. Dad was originally getting a job in the city because he didn't find a place in the farm at that time. But because Grandpa died, and he, in a way, provided him the in of buying the entire farm here instead of the family pulling it apart, give him the in. So it's funny how
that one incident has really propelled your whole family into being able to farm there then.
Yep. Yeah. It's very sad, isn't it? But it's just a trace of history. So that's why I'm fixing that damn block, because the block has a bit of value to it. So hopefully my machinist can at least, I think the inside is okay. I'm looking at the cylinder walls and around the cam and everything in there, and everything seems to be intact. I don't want to put too much time into it, to what do they do with the magnet to find those micro cracks. I don't want to do any of that type of block work. I just want to get it patched so it holds water. I just want to get the damn thing running so we can run it down the street back and forth, and then my kids can look after spending money on it later. Yeah.
Wow.
Trickle down economics, Ian. I'm going to spend the bare minimum to get this working so my kids can spend more money on it later.
Yeah, maybe with me too. Maybe they'll include me in that project too. We'll see. If I play my cards right and I don't piss them off, then maybe they might. Yeah. At any rate, okay. Nice talking to you guys.
Yep. Good luck on your speech tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. So we got somebody waiting in the back here. We're at MJ. How's it going?
MJ, how are you?
Quite a story.
Guys, how you guys doing?
Good.
Looks like you got some buried hives there too.
Yeah, look at that. 36 inches, they said on the apps up by us, but I'm thinking more like 25 or 27 inches.
Looks like you got the Great Pyramids on top of them.
Yeah.
It's like that. It looks like he could have just stole a picture of my apiary. It's the same picture.
If you look at this one right here, that's that tall white one right there in the middle.
Yeah.
That is a triple deep.
Okay, these are singles.
Yeah. Most of the colonies in this yard are doubles. Some of them have like a honey super on.
Yeah. Guys, chat amongst yourself. I'm going to grab a drink.
Take a look at that. That's a triple in the middle.
Now,
wow.
if you take view of the image right around that one, that is a nuke and it's buried.
Yeah, that'll be your best bees likely.
It probably will be. I dug them out a little bit just on the entrance the other day, and then the one right there, that's a double nuke, and they had already had enough heat, and basically they like made themselves an escape with the heat coming out of it, and they started flying at me when I was taking care of the one next to them. But yeah, they're nice and insulated, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's what I like about these. They're mostly covered. This picture was actually taken a little while ago, but we haven't got that much more snow since then, just a bit.
Yeah, we got dumped on Saturday, Sunday. It snowed for like straight 24 hours.
Now, where are you located again?
Up in northern Jersey.
Okay.
So you would expect that snow to melt at some point?
Not recently or not soon. It's they're saying I think -3 over the next week is our lows. Let's see. When we wake up tomorrow morning, it's gonna be 3 degrees Fahrenheit, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, -1 is the low, -2, -4, and like the highs all week are like between 12 and 18 degrees.
So
I mean, snow melts down to -32.
Over the next couple of weeks, it'll be gone. No,
maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Okay.
I think we're supposed to get another snow
trying to get
soon.
context. That's all.
Yeah, we're supposed to get a northeastern Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
we'll
ton of
see.
snow. Holy cow.
They might be fully buried soon.
Oh, that's awesome. That's what I want. I want them to be completely covered.
Yeah. Keep them
That's your best
nice and warm
bees.
that way.
Hmm.
We'll see how the condensation does though.
Keep the sun off them.
Yep.
I got 2 rows of 8 nukes in a row on pallets.
Okay, nice.
Just 2 ribs in the lawn right now. You can't see any of them.
Just a little lump
Oh,
sum.
it's just a rib because they're 8 in a row all squeezed together. And
Yeah,
then
all
the
these.
so it looks like 2 waves. But you
Oh, that's
can't
funny.
see an entrance or
You just see
anything.
the bump, 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 bump.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I need a beverage.
Yeah, I run all of mine on pallets. Trying to do like the 4 ways.
I was talking to Brad, I think yesterday about that, and I was saying, you know what? I think I might want some 2-way pallets. And he's like, why do you want 2-way pallets? I said, I don't know. I think everybody runs pallets. I thought about running pallets. And then
Yeah,
I
You
sat
got
there,
no
I
way to
said,
move
you know
them,
what?
though, Bob.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying is that, yeah, but I don't have any way to move any of those, right? So it's like,
So I run mine on pallets just to keep them off the ground, and I run them all on bottom boards still.
okay.
I mean, I make all my bottom boards, and then I started making top boards just because I was trying to save $80 a colony from getting them. You know, because I was expanding really quick last year. We went from 8 to 26. So we're down to 20, I think 20 colonies right now. I have one dead out, but we're moving and grooving. Haven't checked my other yard yet. I don't even know if I can get to it with all the snow.
I need to go to my other yard just to, and not even to open it, just to wait for a nice day, drive out there just to see if there's flight, right?
Yeah.
Flight in and out of the colony. I haven't been over there in over a month, easy. But I need to. I need to
Go
check
heft them, Bob.
Do what?
Go heft them and make sure you get enough food on them.
They might be dead already. I don't even know. I mean, to be honest with you, they were flying last time I was out there, but things have changed. I mean, we are starting to get, when it's nice out, we are getting some pollen in, but I don't know that they're getting any nectar. That's a little more country out there. Even
Where are they grabbing pollen from at this time of the year for you?
no idea. I mean, I know that I've got camellia trees that are bushes that are blooming, so they were getting some off of that. So I don't know if that's the only thing.
Because on like the earlier spring days when my girls are flying, they come into my quail feeders and they're collecting the pollen. It's more feed dust
The
than
grain.
anything.
Right.
It's protein.
I mean, it works for them, right? If they use it, let them.
Yeah, I mean, when I had chickens, I'd noticed they would get on the chicken, like the chicken feed, and get dust off of that if they needed to. I did have some pollen sub out a couple weeks ago, and they started to hit it, but it wasn't not like you see Ian when he rips a whole bag, a 50-pound bag open, right? And they're just going crazy on it. It's not like that, but there were some bees on it. Let me see.
I guess it all depends on how much brood they're rearing right now.
Well, I will challenge that thought. Are they raising brood because they have pollen, or vice versa, right? Do they get pollen because there's brood to be fed?
I feel like they would collect it if they have brood. If they need to feed brood, they need pollen.
What were you saying, Brad?
I think they collect it because it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bees are kind of pack rats. They just grab whatever's there.
Mm-mm.
Like they grab stuff that's not even useful. Mold spores, corn dust, coffee grounds.
Ooh.
That's why my bees are flying with such energy.
I saw a video a couple years ago where somebody was just using weight gainer powder, the protein powder.
Oh yeah.
And they were collecting that?
that they were getting that as well when he set it out. So might just be a dusty, smell good situation, but
Yeah. DC says
because
they're
that's
raising
kind of
brood
what.
because there's food abundance in the,
But
which
that's
is
kind of I always thought of, and I'm only asking that question because I always thought of it as that was kind of a cue to the bees to when they would start to brood up was, hey, we got stuff coming into the colony, right? I never thought of it as, well, we got 10,000 babies we need to feed, so now we're going to go out and find it. I always thought it worked based on what they were bringing in.
I agree. It's the landscape and the environment is the stimulus.
So, I mean, that was it. Yeah, that was just kind of the thought with that. Not that either. I mean, I don't know if either way has been proven or not proven, but it could be either or, I guess.
I mean, they'd have to have nectar to drop on it for it to ferment, though, right?
Well, making it bee bread, you would assume they have to have something, right? Because they have to clump it together to stick to in those little round.
Yeah.
Thanks, Robert. Appreciate that, buddy. We've been going
Hey,
for an
Robert.
hour and 46 minutes, and I've earned $1.99. So thank you.
You're raking it in, man.
Go over to that YouTube studio
Killing
and
it.
hit insert ad.
Killing it.
You were worried about not being at your table for 2 weeks. Robert
Yeah.
got your back,
Hey,
man.
Robert got me covered. 2 weeks and not at the table.
Right.
I do appreciate that, sir.
500 more of those, and
Yeah, I
you got
know.
it made.
Hey, if I could just get 50 more, I could actually get paid out from YouTube.
Yeah.
What's it got to reach a certain level?
$100 before you get paid. So, yeah. So most of this is pro bono work for the most part, and knowledge.
It's all right. We
Not
get to
work,
hang out.
fun. Hanging out with guys. Fun.
You get
Do
the
they
hang.
take a percentage?
I've
Yeah,
never. I'm sure
it's
they
a-
do.
It's
Well,
supposed to
worst
be.
comes to worst, Bob, donate yourself a few extra bucks and collect the other stuff.
Well,
They
yeah,
say with
YouTube
the
takes-
tips and super chats, it's supposed to be 70-30 split, but it depends on where you are. So wherever
Yeah.
the donation comes from, I've seen it as high as like 45 or 50% that they take.
Yeah, Brent said. Yep, we had over 100 people watching at one time when Ian was here, and we've only got 39 likes. Only got 39 likes, so and those are free.
Free to
So
do.
Oh, I clicked dislike.
yeah, but you wouldn't be the first person.
Sorry, Bob.
Yeah, I didn't know. Oh, Mark said I didn't know that. So when I give money, the YouTuber isn't getting it. Well, I mean, we've done things in the past where, you know, for instance, one time we did a fundraiser for Tim and Hannah to get bee suits and stuff because Hannah had an allergic reaction, and we did it. Everybody was super chatting in money for that, which is great. It's great that we did that. However, me as the YouTuber actually purchased those suits so they would get those, and then I had to wait a month to get the money from YouTube, and then YouTube takes their cut. So, you know, it's not as clean and accurate. I think there's better ways. Like a lot of people, like even Brad, I think you have that buy me a cup of coffee thing.
No, they take a big cut too.
Oh, do they?
I got a PayPal link on my video.
Oh. But honestly, if you really want to support me as a creator, the best thing you can do is buy a bottle of Swarm Lure, because that comes directly through my website, right? And that way, it just works better. But and it's getting, well, for some of us, it's getting close to swarm season. Some of y'all got to wait a while.
Yeah.
I think we got like 3 more months
Mine
until it
fly out
starts
now, they're
Monday.
dying.
Oh wow.
Yours fly straight out and die. They're just like,
I was
Straight
walking
dead.
by the other day. It was cold. One flew out. I said, "Good night, lady." He went about
Yes.
20 feet and crashed.
And Mark, I saw that order. I packed it up, and it's already went to the post office. So you should get that in the next day or so, I would imagine, through the postal service. Mark ordered a couple jars of creamed honey from me, and I packed it up and got it right out because it was early enough in the day. So it should get there pretty quick.
I had a FedEx delivery today, and I just backed right. I was plowing my driveway, and I backed up to the guy. I said, might as well put it in here. That's where it's going. And I said, this was supposed to be here on Sunday. He goes, made 3 hours. I couldn't go anywhere. The snow was coming down. I said, I figured it'd be here today. He says, yeah. He says, nothing. I made 3 hours, and they took us off the roads.
The Uncle Junior said, isn't PayPal fees 2%? I think there are ways that you can get it. I think if you use PayPal Me, that you can get it with no fee, I think.
What was it, Brad, when I helped you out? I sent it to a friend.
Yeah, that's like
they used to have a selection, friends and family kind of thing. And what that means is if you don't pay the fees, then you have no recourse. So if you're buying an eBay item, for example, you don't want to use that, because if you use the regular service, you say I'm buying goods or services, and then something happens, you don't get your product or something, then PayPal will go to bat for you and get your money back. But friends and family, your money's gone.
Yeah.
So you got to trust the person, or like say it's a donation or something. But they've changed it a little bit. They still do that, but it's a little bit trickier. I think they're using some kind of criteria or AI or something, because they actually want you to type in what you're sending or what you're getting, and most people who send me money end up paying. Well, I don't pay, but it comes off the donation, the fee. But the fee is very low compared to a YouTube fee. It's extremely low.
Even credit card fees. If you're taking credit card, I notice at my table. Yep, my credit card sales have gone up because I offer credit card, right? I mean, it's definitely handy when someone says, "Oh, well, I'll have to come back with more cash." Well, I take card. Oh, in that case, let me go ahead and get this extra thing.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So it does bump the sales up. But you'll be surprised at the end of the day when you look back at the settlement how much of that they're actually grabbing from you, right? It can add up pretty quick.
Yeah, Square is 2.5%, I think.
Yeah, I do have.
If you pay for the premium, if you pay the premium, it's 2.5. If you don't, if you have the free version, it's 2.6 and 15 cents per transaction.
Are you Cliff Clavin? Like, holy cow! How do you know that stuff?
I just signed up for it like the other month, so I read through all of it.
Cliff Clavin.
If you sign up with my link, you can get 1% off your Square for the first one.
Haven't heard a Cheers reference in a while.
As far as like PayPal, several years ago, PayPal had the option where you could do credit cards and everything, and it's still
I had them send me a scanner.
They still charge me every month too for a business. They charge you every month for business use of that, where Square charges you nothing every month.
Yeah,
right.
So
Square's user fee only.
Yep. So it's definitely better. And Elon did have something to do with PayPal when it started.
He did not.
Not
the story I watched a documentary about it, and PayPal was actually his competition. His first, and he was doing the same thing. The same kind of company, but they were battling back and forth. And you'll never guess what his name of his company was back in the day.
What was
his company was named X.
X, was it?
Yeah. According to this documentary that I saw.
Let me see. Let's say Flower Street Farm is accepting sponsorships for 2026.
Sorry, I'm into the pecans.
Nice.
Pecans are good.
I was going to say pecans, but people make fun of me. Canadian accent.
So, yeah, my dad used to say the pecan is what they set in the center of the room so they didn't have to go out to the outhouse at night.
My
right.
wife got a bunch of pecans the other day, and I go, "You got pecans?" And she goes, "It's not pecans." And
It's pecans.
I think my dad's pecans were Hills Brothers coffee can that they had sitting in the floor. They had one room or one bedroom. There was 5 kids. The boys all had one big bed, and the girls all had one big bed, and that's what it was till they got old enough to get out.
That's kind of what used to separate the social classes. Is the high class people had the beds with the canopy on top, and the low class had the canopy under the bed.
Yeah, canopy. I was about to say ours had the canopy in between because that was the divider between the boys' room and the girls' room.
Yeah.
Which is funny because when
You've never lived.
Go ahead, Doug.
You've never lived, Bob, till you slap those cheeks on 38 degree below a piece of lumber.
Outhouse. What I never quite kind of got, Doug, though, was because I grew up in when they still had houses where I lived. Is you go to the outhouse and there was 2 holes. Like you got to be pretty close to somebody to
Yeah,
to not wait.
I never figured that out either. But right.
that's how it was in the Boy Scout latrines.
Yeah.
It was just 2 seats right next to each other. You could hold hands in there.
You give each other a courtesy cough, a little bit of privacy during that coughing time.
The dairy farm my grandmother grew up on was a 3-holer. The parents and her shared one, and the 2 boys had their own.
Boot camp, it was just a wall of shitters.
Family affair.
Just sat right next to each other.
Look, Ian leaves and look what the conversation turns to.
Yeah.
Only on our stream. Nowhere else. When you gotta go, you gotta go. That's right.
That's it.
I suppose.
And if you've ever been in the military, usually you don't go for like the first week. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to sit next to 5 other dudes sitting there going. But eventually, you're like, I just got to do what I got to do. That's it.
Yep.
DC says he remembers the Hall of Crappers. That's it. You go in there and it's literally, think of a big Walmart bathroom with no dividers, no walls. Just
toilets.
Everybody's seen Full Metal Jacket, right? The movie?
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty factual. You just go in there and sit.
They've changed it up since. They actually have stalls now on some of the bases.
Do they?
Yep.
For basic training?
Yeah.
I haven't
got a little bit of privacy. Still don't have any time to go, but they put some privacy in.
That's it. At night we had a little bit of time in between clean up, right? And bedtime. After showers. Or before. Whenever you had to go. Sears catalog and outhouse is not a joke. Hey, Jeff, I mean, even when I was a kid, go up to West Virginia and still had outhouse in that we like a parking lot at the bottom of the hill. There was an outhouse there, not a porta-john, a wooden outhouse. Like
the farm behind me has an outhouse.
And you've never smelled. You think porta-johns smell bad? Go sit in an outhouse for a minute.
He goes, if you need to use it, sawdust boxes over there.
Yeah. Hey, like you said, it's not a restroom, right?
Yep.
Brad, it's not a restroom.
There's no resting. You get in.
You don't even want to. Go in there and do your business and get out.
It's all business.
And just think if it's a hot summer's day, it's been stewing.
You just leave the door open at that point.
Steeping.
You might as well just leave the door open. You might get a breeze.
The old curling rink, 2 sheets of ice, and at the far end they had a sheet of plywood up and a piece of eave trough going outside.
Yeah.
a sheet of plywood to block all the sheet. Only on Hall of Crappers is where this chat has gone. That's right. Never scripted.
Yeah, never scripted.
Never scripted. Well, and that probably is a good note since we've been at 2 hours exactly now. A good note to call it for this week before we go too far off the deep end. The outhouse I used as a kid is still standing. The house has been taken down. It's just a hole. Oh, the house, but the outhouse is still there. I got you. All right, guys. Well, hey, we appreciate all of you. We'll see you next Tuesday night, and bring your topics and let's talk. We'll see you guys next week.
Good night, everyone.
Now.
Good night.